Good morning. Welcome to the Celtic Way Morning Briefing Live. I'm Tony Haggerty at Haggerty10 on the X or the Twitter handle. And I'm joined today. It's Tuesday. You know what day it is. It's Kevin McKenna Day. Good morning, Kevin. The Celtic Daz are reunited. It's a Celtic Daz podcast today. I'm good. Aye, yourself?
Aye, good. Glad that this winter break's over and we can get back to the real stuff.
Football's back, but the stormy weather ain't abating, that's for sure. But
I mean,
never mind. We'll cope with
January. That. It's January. You'd think, I mean, you look at all the news reports, you'd think that Scotland didn't have bad weather. Suddenly there's snow, there's wind, there's rain, there's trees falling, there's yellow weather warnings, and it's like, right, we're going to get the UN in here, the emergency unit.
Yeah. And before we start, in case anybody's wondering, it's a new shirt. It's not temporary interference on your screen or anything like that. You know what I mean? Before the comments come in, guys, as we always do, we say thank you to our sponsors, MPH Group, for all your plumbing, heating, kitchen, and bathroom needs. MPH Group are Scotland's award-winning family, all trades specialists covering the whole of mainland Scotland, and they've got a Navien Boiler installation promotion for you. And if you choose a Navien Boiler, you'll get a free internet controller, and that gadget can crank up your boiler's efficiency to 98%. And the bonus on top of that is they're covering the first year service with no added cost. You even offer flexible finance options. So if you're gearing up for a winter chill, consider making a smart move with MPH and Navien. So we say thank you to them for their sponsorship of the Celtic Way morning briefing. Kevin, football returned. It was a long 19 days, wasn't it?
I know. The best news of the last week or so was last night saying that next season there won't be a winter break.
Yeah, we were all rejoicing at that, weren't we?
Yeah. I mean, I know I've probably changed my tune in this because, remember several years ago when we had one of our kind of periodical navel-gazing exercises about why Scottish football's so crap and why we play football in the winter and it's not like the continentals. And then actually we get what we've been talking about, and those 19 days move at a glacial pace, and you've got to pretend that you're interested in English second division games and the Scottish Cup first round games, which is the only stuff that the BBC Scotland can film these days of any import. So, long story short, I'm glad I'm back to the real games.
I was saying the other day, I tried so hard to get into the FA Cup third round, when with the BBC and ITV cover it, and I just wasn't there, Kevin. It wasn't there when I was a kid, and I've always said this: you can only support one football team, and when they're not playing, you can have a vested interest whether you like to have a wee Titus Brambo, as I call it, Kevin, a wee gamble, a wee Titus. You know what I mean? But, or whatever, or you have an affinity with some club in England. But I find it hard when it's not Celtic. I'll watch it, but I'm not emotionally invested in it or passionately invested in it. So it was great to see Celtic return, and they returned against Buckie Thistle, Kevin. We spoke off air just before we came on. 5-0. You were happy that you said it was a wonderful, display of PR as well for both clubs. It was just a great day out for everybody concerned, and Celtic were professional and did their job. And I have to address the fact, I think somebody in the YouTube comments said, am I sponsored by the word wonderful? So there's the first wonderful of the day, second and third one. Okay, but it is what it is. I'm not aware of that, but there you go. But no, it was a good day all round for everybody, wasn't it, Kevin?
Yeah, well, you and I had spent a bit of time in Buckie before it.
We did.
And so you kind of get a feel for how these types of ties resonate with these little towns, when they get them. There was so many good things about it. Buckie are a proper football club, well run, well managed, roots absolutely embedded in the community. Lot of big Celtic connections up there.
Yeah,
they just kept coming. And I couldn't couldn't really find out exactly why. I mean, I know that the local legend, which appears to have some grounding in fact, that Celtic had given them their first strips, and that's why they play in the green and white hoops. But I was speaking to a few Buckie fans in their social club on Saturday, none of whom had any particular affinity with Celtic, but they said of all the big clubs that locals support, I mean, there's a lot of support for Buckie. They say that by far the majority of them will go to see Celtic, followed by Rangers, followed by Aberdeen. And Celtic, played against them for their centenary in 1989. And they also played at the start in the 1980s to raise funds for the twin spires of the local Catholic Church, which is a bit of an architectural gem. But it was good. And I'm glad Celtic put out a full team. Both from our perspective, because we've had that break, and it's good to reacquaint them with some proper football. But it's also good for Buckie Thistle that we took them seriously, that we gave them a bit of respect, and actually, watching their performance, they can play a bit. Obviously, their fitness levels can never match the SPL champions, but they didn't let themselves down, didn't let their club down, and their community can be proud of them.
Yeah, I thought it was just an excellent weekend all round, and thought there was some lovely touches from Brendan Rodgers and the team, and also from the Buckie manager, saying Brendan Rodgers came in and spoke to them and then invited all the players into the Celtic dressing room where they could swap jerseys and stuff like that. And I spoke yesterday about the goalkeeping coach's son, Daniel, whom I spoke to today.
That was just a great story. That was the best story of the week.
So he should, both of them will appear in the Herald newspaper today. If you get a chance to read that, have a read of that. It's Celtic presented them with a jersey. It's as everything that football should be about, everything that the Celtic family should be about.
There's also
an excellent weekend.
There's another aspect to this, because I remember speaking years ago to David Potter, the God rest him, the historian. He's written some wonderful books about Celtic and their history. So David was from Forfar, and there's a lot of Celtic connections in Forfar, which you wouldn't really expect. Same as Buckie. David said that the roots of that were in the 30s or 40s, and he said that Jimmy McGrory himself had come north by train and brought with him a signed Celtic football and some other bits and pieces, basically just to help raise funds for the club. And because of that and that alone, because there wasn't any kind of natural, social, cultural affinity to Celtic, David said that the ramifications of that single trip by Jimmy McGrory led to generations of new Celtic fans, and that continues to this day. So you can't overestimate the importance of going above and beyond and spreading the name in these far-flung communities. Well, I say far-flung, they're not far-flung.
I know what you mean.
They're just up the road.
The road, as you would say, yeah. But I love stories like that, Kevin. It's excellent to know that, isn't it? The legend that is Jimmy McGrory was doing stuff like that. That for me makes what the Scottish Cup's all about. It's fascinating when you find out stuff like that, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think there's lots of communities like that around Scotland and also abroad, that just because of a personal kindness and a bit of humanity, it can imbue a child, a family with a love and an affection, which gets handed on down through generations, and the great name of Celtic gets spread further.
we're big in personal kindness and humanity in this
We are,
program, Kevin.
yeah.
We are, which is why you're on it, and I think it's why I'm on it as well, the program. But there you go. We can be lots of things to all men and women. Sometimes our personal kindness and humanity shines through. We like to think it does. But yeah, I was going to ask you, Kevin, about two things. Now, the strap line is, should Celtic sign Caoimhin Kelleher on a loan option to buy? That's a Liverpool goalkeeper. He's played 32 times in 10 years for Liverpool. Liverpool supposedly want 20 million, but that isn't going to happen. But I was reading a report the other day saying, and it was from a sort of gambling site, but they're saying that Celtic are even money favourites now to sign the goalkeeper. Brendan Rodgers had worked with him before. Now, we spoke off air and you were talking about do Celtic really need to bring in somebody for the next 4 or 5 months? I was kind of playing devil's advocate with this, but it is a position that Celtic need to strengthen. Certainly, if they don't do it in this window, they'll need to do it in the summer, won't they?
Yes. Yeah. 20 million's too much.
Yeah, Celtic will never pay that for a goalkeeper, let's be honest.
32 times. But there still is quite a high value on getting a goalkeeper with a decent degree of experience with one of the best clubs in the world. And it's quite obvious that Liverpool think he's a good keeper too. He's largely being kept out of the team by one of the best goalkeepers in the world right now, Alisson. But I wouldn't be breaking my neck just to get him in before the transfer window, because for various reasons. One, I think Joe Hart has performed decently this season, and we got a reminder of that against Rangers a few weeks ago. Made a couple of big saves, as he's done in several games. Also, I think Joe Hart has a very good understanding with the defence. I think there's obviously camaraderie there. I think he's a big personality in the dressing room. I think he gets the club. I think the players like him, and I think they respect his experience and his ability. So, you don't want to be seen to be, rushing to get somebody to throw him out when it's not the main priority in the team.
Yes.
It can upset the equilibrium on a few levels. But yeah, certainly for the summer. And if I quite like the fact that we seem to be doing a bit of homework, that there's some preparation in this and some thinking about it, because there didn't appear to be that when we signed Barkas. We saw the consequences of that, because it's I think, as I was saying to the lads the other week, the goalkeeping, the goalkeeper's position has changed dramatically. The role of the goalkeeper in modern football has changed perhaps more than any other position on the field. It's so much now. It's so much more now than shot stopping and clutching high balls in your 6-yard area, or commanding your 6-yard area. It's been more or less 2-footed, being calm under pressure, being able to spot a pass, having a bit of knowledge of the geometry of the field in front of you. So you have to really think long and hard about who you want in, and it has to be for the long term, because that's one of those positions which has a kind of quite a big influence on how the team is set up, how it's going to play, and the success of it. I'd be looking. Yeah, I'm not sure about a loan deal either, because it's such a big position. We need permanence, sustainability going forward. Joe Hart has given us that over the last few years, and we need that again.
Cool. Who's the snitch comes in and says, Mr. H, when did Celtic supporters lose their sense of humour? Don't understand that comment, so you'll need to come back in. Who's the snitch, and tell me what I've said. I think we're quite humorous on this broadcast, are we not, Kevin? Don't take yourself that serious.
Yeah, some people think we're probably a bit too flippant at times.
I just thought I'd flick it up. When did they lose their sense of humour? I'm lost. You need to come back in and come into the comments and tell me what you're thinking. But yeah, going to take a lot of comments here, Kevin, because I'm sort of talking about Kelleher as well. So Brown Warwick is in first and foremost saying, good morning, Tony, Kevin. Two big hitters talking about the tick. Marvellous. Thank you very much. Brown Warrior, Seamus Gallagher, morning, Tony and Kevin.
Morning, Seamus.
Paul Montgomery, hail from Luxembourg. Hey, Paul, how you
Hi,
doing?
Paul.
Yeah, indeed. In Northampton, Tim saying, Tony, I'm the same age as you. He's a Celtic boy, so he's not a Celtic dad. I think that's what you say. JJ McGarvey, Kelleher is a good goalkeeper, but not for anything more than 6 or 7 million, in my opinion. I agree with that too, yeah. Michael Ross saying, Liverpool want crazy money, it's laughable. That was my point, that he's only played 32 times in 10 years, so 20 million quid's just way off. And we'll come to this. Nice to see Vata get some game playing time, but he wants to get Kelleher in and get the Aberdeen guy, that's Miovski, and he thinks that would be a great window. By the way, morning, guys. Morning, how you doing? JJ comes back in, says he's played a few cup games for Liverpool. He's a good goalkeeper, but nothing special, and he's certainly not worth the 20 million that Liverpool are currently. And who's just next saying, hail, Mr. H and Kevin. Hail to you. Yes, indeed. Still worried about that humour comment. It's gone over my head, and that's a big kind of head of hair, you know what I mean? So it's quite so. Credit to the Buckie team, says Hazel Finlay. Enjoyed their day and fair play to them. Really enjoyed watching a good, clean game. Respect. Pete McGee coming in and saying Kelleher just feels like a potential elephant in the dressing room. His wages would cause discontent, in my opinion. That's fair enough, but I'm basing it on the fact that Celtic are favourites to sign him, so there must be some truth in that. Don't know if Brendan and Rodgers is interested. Sorry, but 20 million is far too much for a goal. That's a little game time. Totally agree, love it. Totally agree. And then Brown Warrior saying, would you pay 10 million for a keeper who might give you 10 years service? I think the answer to that is you probably would, but I just don't see Celtic paying £10 million for a goalkeeper, Kevin. And Maestro 95 comes in and says 32 times in 10 years. Sounds hungry. There you go. So there you have it. So here we go. Still trying to find this. All right, who's this snitch? Mr. H, not you. All right, that's why then it went. That's why it went over my head. So
relief.
It must be, yes, it must be. They must be having a conversation in the comments section. So there you go. But yeah, lots of differing opinions about Kelleher. Caoimhin. I had to even look up how you pronounced his name, but I'm told it's Caoimhin because that's the Irish Gaelic for Kevin. That spelling there, you would know that, Kevin. I would conjecture. But yeah, Caoimhin's how you spell it. So didn't want to come on and do the man a disservice. But yeah, I think a lot of people are saying not worth the 20 million outlay, Kevin, and they agree with yourself that it's maybe not a priority at this minute in time.
Well, apart from anything else, Celtic haven't paid more than £9 million for any player. we're not going to suddenly double that for a guy who's wrong side of 13's played 32 times in 10 years. Doesn't matter who it is. And I think there's other priorities. But we do have to take that position a lot more seriously than we have in the past. And I'm still annoyed. I still wake up in the middle of the night wondering why we didn't get the deal done with Fraser Foster prior to the COVID season, because the information that I have, and it was copper bottom, was that there was an opportunity for us to have signed Fraser Foster. I
love Big Foster. I thought it was one.
Not pointing the finger at anybody in particular, but there were certain people in the Celtic executive suite who stand accused of letting him get away, and instead we signed Barkas, and I think personally that alone cost us about 10 points in that season. Yeah, but there we go. You can't say that I'm obsessed with the past, but it still hurts.
Can't see you're still bitter about it.
I know.
I love Big Foster. I thought he was a brilliant goalkeeper. Still one of the best goalkeeping performances I've ever seen. That 2019 League Cup final.
And Barcelona.
And Barcelona, La Gran Muralla, as they christened him, for obvious reasons. Yeah, tremendous. But it just shows you the importance of having a good goalkeeper. And I've not got a downer on Joe Hart either. I spoke to Rab Douglas when I was in Buckie, and he actually said he thought he'd another couple of years left in him, which was,
he might well be right. He's looked after himself,
Yeah.
So it's just not a priority for me.
Left back and a striker a priority for you, Kevin?
Yeah. We need we just need another left back, and it's not any comment on Greg Taylor, who I think has actually began to show signs of getting it together again just before the break. Played well, especially in the second half against Rangers. Played very well against St Mirren. So it just needs competition, because Bernabe, who was brought in to give us another option there, just hasn't cut it. And it's such an important position with the way that Celtic play.
Yeah.
And we've seen signs in Scotland that some clubs are kind of targeting that position, because you can never fault Taylor for getting up and down the park, for his positional awareness, for his ability to deliver crosses. He's hard, he's tough as teak. But other clubs know that if you put him under a wee bit of pressure, sometimes his passing can be a bit wayward. But as I said, he had a good end to the first half of the season. He just, like any other position, it just needs a bit of competition there from somebody who can start and deliver when asked immediately.
Yeah, correct. I agree with that. I agree he needs, well, we've been talking about a left back for a long, long time. So if you and I can see that, then I'm sure Celtic can see that, and they're all over it. Now, I wanted to ask you about Rocco Vata and Daniel Kelly coming on in there against Buckie Thistle. Rocco Vata scored and Daniel Kelly impressed. So, and some great comments from the manager at the end regarding the two of them. So I'd like to think that might be an Olive Branch extended, Kevin, in terms of
me too. For such a young player with so little game time, it's amazing how often his name crops up in not only in our discussion and with the boys in previous week, but just also amongst the general Celtic support. And a part of that is because there's still a degree of affection for his dad, Rudy. But also, whatever we've seen of him, there's a player there, and he's in the Republic of Ireland squad, and he's one of ours. He's a young homegrown player, and we want to give these guys opportunities. I love the fact that we finished the game with five players from the youth academy. I saw that my old school, St Ninians High in Caoimhin, who are celebrating their 150th year this year, by the way, they tweeted out about five of their ex-pupils because of our Celtic's connection with them up in Lennoxtown.
You would do that, wouldn't you? I think that's tremendous.
Well, I was actually at St Ninians last week to write a feature for the Herald on their 150th anniversary, and the head teacher, Paul McLaughlin, took me to this. We've got this corridor next to their big games hall, and it's got all the Celtic tops signed by all the players who have been through St Ninians as part of this connection we have.
Brilliant.
This arrangement we have with them, and as soon as they make their first team debuts, they send a signed top back to St Ninians. So there's about 15 or 16 of them, including, Kieran, Tierney. So it's good. It's good. And also, I think there was a tweet put out by Tom English, which was rather unfortunate signing for timing from Tom when the game kicked off. Pointing out that Celtic didn't have any Scottish starters, and less than 90 minutes later, there's more than half the team have finished the game. So yeah, I like to see younger players, our own, coming through. I have said here, and I still hold to this, that I think the club and quite often the fans are guilty of double standards when it comes to young Scottish talent. We seem to be kind of dazzled more by players from the continent or overseas, where there's been a decent, there's been some hype and a good price tag, and we seem willing to give them more of an opportunity to settle into the team than we do our own players. I might be wrong. It's just a perception that I've had, and also I'm as guilty of that as anyone anyway.
Yeah. Now, Richard Herries comes in and says, "Glad you seem happy, Tony. He's raging about this window." And you're a tetchy bunch today, you're not? I've never said I was happy. I still want a left back and a striker and a goalkeeper. I don't think I'll might get 2 out of 3, might get none out of 3, but I think these are priority positions that Celtic need to look at if they don't look at them in this window. Well, we certainly have to look at a left back and a striker in this window.
It should have happened. It should happen in this window because, all that is, if Kyogo is injured, and it could happen, because he gets, he's wee guy gets targeted, and God forgive him, but I just don't think cuts it as a replacement striker.
No.
I'd love to be proved wrong, but I just think that we've got a month. We've known, the club has known. Brendan Rodgers has signalled this on numerous occasions, right from the start of the season, right from when we were beaten by Kilmarnock. Well, on both occasions we were beaten by Kilmarnock. That we needed some quality in certain positions, and we've got a month, and if we exit this transfer window without having reinforced the left back and the striking positions, then we are guilty. The club is guilty of complacency.
Yeah.
You could almost understand it if we were like 8 or 9 points ahead, but we're not. We're 2 points ahead. So that's a small margin, and we've got a big economic advantage over our closest rivals, and there's no excuses if we exit this transfer window without having reinforced those 2 positions.
Lovett's coming in saying, surely the board cannot risk losing out on 60 million by not investing in the squad.
Correct.
I think that's how we all feel, isn't it? And I mean, I've seen it all this window and before the window, since the start of the season, really, that Celtic need a left back and a striker. I still would like a goalkeeper, but it's not imperative at this minute in time. As I say, the Caoimhin Kelleher rumour isn't going away, and I was just throwing that out there to see what the thoughts were amongst the wider Celtic support.
Would you be happy to see Miovski or Shankland?
I said before, either or.
Yeah, me too.
Kevin, I don't work on what's going to happen. I work in the here and now. Miovski and Shankland in the here and now would score goals for Celtic and win the title.
Correct.
Which is what you need to do to guarantee that 60 million quid. Now, people will argue, but are they Champions League class? Are they a step up? You'll know till they play in that competition. But what I do know is, in the competition that you're trying to win, the Scottish Premiership, both of those guys are prolific goal scorers at what you would deem provincial clubs. And I think coming to Celtic, either or of those two, you're playing alongside better players, you get the opportunity to score goals, you would plunder a lot of goals.
We've had,
hence you would win 3 in a row and win that 60 million. It's imperative that Celtic win this title. So Shankland or Miovski I would take in a heartbeat.
There's echoes of former times here, because we've had. I know it was a lot more. I know that we didn't have all the kind of overseas opportunities, 30, 40 years ago. But I remember we bought Joe Craig from Partick Thistle.
Yeah.
In 75, 76. And a lot of people were saying, he's good with Partick Thistle, but is he going to cut it? Boy, did he cut it. And was instrumental in us winning the double in 76, 77. You go back a bit further, Dixie Deans we got from Motherwell, Joe McBride we got from Motherwell, Willie Wallace we got from Hearts, all free scoring. None of whom had given, you just to ram home your point there. You wouldn't look at them. Jockstein wasn't looking at them and thinking, they will automatically be able to knock in goals against the likes of Inter Milan or Barcelona. But he just knew that they could score goals, and that they were scoring goals in teams that didn't attack as much as Celtic. And lo and behold, and we bought Dixie Deans, I think, relatively late in his career, and Motherwell, as I said, and he had a disciplinary problem. Lawrence Shankland would score goals for us, and the first priority is winning 3 in a row, getting access to the new Champions League setup. There's only one club from Scotland that can go in. And anybody who says that Lawrence Shankland isn't Celtic class needs to behave themselves.
They're not watching.
He scored several. He scored several goals against us. He scored several goals against Rangers, and he's knocked in a couple for Scotland. So if he's available, and he, of course, he is available, just go and get him. I don't care. If he's a Rangers fan, it's not the first and he won't be the last Rangers fan that we've signed who gives brilliant service to us. So
I don't care about that either. I just care about if you put the ball in front of them, will they score goals? You put the ball in front of Shankland, he will score goals.
I'm right.
And living the here and now, and Celtic, it's imperative, as I say, that they win this title. And goal scorers don't lose the ability to score goals.
Yeah.
So Shankland or Miovski, I would be happy with. And, because I know they would score goals for Celtic.
Yeah.
So it's to me, a move for either one of those two is a no-brainer in this window with 8 days left. Or 9, because I think it finishes in midnight, February the 1st, doesn't it? So it's,
just get it done. Those
two are available. Yeah, of course, those two are available. So I think that the title could depend on
I agree.
A piece of business like that, to be honest.
We find out if Rangers are interested, and they're kind of, they've made some kind of bid, or they're talking some ballpark figure, then just go in and just say, right, well, whatever they offer, we'll offer $1 million more.
Yeah, because you've got the wherewithal to do it.
Yeah.
And so listen, don't care who they supported as a boy. That's never interested me. I'm interested in their ability to put the ball in the net. And at this moment in time, I'm looking at 2 guys from other clubs who can put the ball in the net, and that's a commodity that Celtic need to go alongside Kyogo. I mean, it's these are the facts, aren't they? As presented.
Yeah.
And the case rest for the defence, or the attack, as this may be.
I mean, even just going back, just a few years ago, picking up the likes of Paul Hartley.
Yeah.
From Hearts, who was just great for us. Barry Robson. Did the job for us in a very crucial year when we were lagging behind in the title race in 2007, 2008, lost the first two games against Rangers, and the two of them were just brilliant, especially because that season, because of cancellations, the first two games were at Ibrox, and we hit the last 2 or 3 months miles behind Rangers, and with two games against them at Celtic Park, beat them 2-1 and 3-2, and Robson and Hartley were outstanding, and if only for that season, although they gave us more than that. In fact, you're talking about these kind of solid pros from other clubs. Can they do it in the Champions League? Paul Hartley scored an absolute belter against Spartak Moscow, and Robson scored a belter against Barcelona.
Yes,
so let's have none of this sniffiness.
I worry about the Champions League when it rolls along, Kevin. At this moment in time, Celtic are not playing in the Champions League. They're playing in the Scottish Premiership. They've got a title to win. They've got
we need to get there first.
Second half of the season correct, and a signing like that would help you in that quest. Francis Lester coming in, he would take Shankland tomorrow, our greatest players and manager. Kenny Dalglish, Danny McGrain, and Jock Stein were all blue noses. He rests his case. I think we've had our say on that as well, haven't we, Kevin? We rest our case on that. But yes, Kevin, thank you very much. The morning briefing, as it's known, we like to keep them kind of briefish now. So that's the reason we've kind of cut them shorter. I know people are getting a lot of complaints about that, Kevin, but that is what it is. We like to leave people wanting more. We like to leave topics so we can talk about.
We didn't mention Ross County. Didn't mention Ross County on Saturday.
Yes, indeed.
Look forward to it.
I can't wait to get back into the swing of things in the Scottish Premiership, Kevin. I think
Ross County have given different manager now, and there's other issues, I suppose, with new manager, but who's deploying a kind of a fairly colourful, idiosyncratic approach to second spell, and up there. But they've given us good games at Parkhead. Hard, competitive, well organised team. Never a foregone conclusion. Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and also I made the point on Monday that I just think this is a Celtic team that are now looking as if they're going to click through the years. Those 4 games, festive period, the Livingston game was okay, better against Dundee, excellent against Rangers, and tremendous against St Mirren. Sunday there, they were really slick and professional, I thought. So I'm looking forward to seeing them now go hell for leather again when the league business comes back into play, and that's, as you say, against Ross County on Saturday. And that's lots to look forward to, Kevin. But here's hoping there's some more good cheer in the transfer window with 9 days to go. Fingers crossed. Something better to talk about as well. A new signing as well. Hopefully we'll see Kuhn against Ross County. The man said we might make an appearance then. So that will be good. That will lift the place as well. But as always, Kevin, brilliant to have your company. Love it. I could talk to you all day.
Pleasure.
Lots of people coming in and saying nice things about there you go. Good show again, guys. Hail, hail. Thank you, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry.
Great show, lads. Seamus Gallagher. Thank you, Seamus. Great show, lads. Brilliant when you two are on. That's really kind, Jerry. Thanks very much. See, there's lots of love out there for you, Kevin. Yeah, can you beat it? Can you beat it?
I think you're the main attraction, Tony.
Oh, wouldn't go that far. That's as I said before. I'm in the Jurgen Klopp, a normal one like you and me and all the Celtic supporters. No special ones here, just normal ones.
Correct.
Who love their football team and like talking about it on a daily basis. But thanks very much, sir. Always appreciate it. Always look forward to a Tuesday when you're on. Your pearls of wisdom. Nice chat today, says Hazel Finn, and she even mentioned her favourite player, Dixie Deans. Yeah, I always loved the fact that Dixie Deans entered the kind of Cockney rhyming slang folklore some pie and Dixie Deans. I like it. Pie and mash and Dixie Deans. I loved all that kind of stuff. So there you go. Jerry O'Ross saying, "You're too humble, Tony. Best way to be, Jerry. Best way to be, sir." Yes, indeed. Nice one. So I'll leave you to go and have some Dixie Deans and toast, Kevin. All right.
Thank you.
Something like that. But always appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Thanks very much. You know what I'm going to say. Strapline running along the bottom. If you enjoy these videos and you love what we do, subscribe to the website, guys. You'd be doing us all a great big favour, and you would be helping support top quality journalism covering the club you love in the process. £4 for 4 months or £18 for a yearly subscription. Hit that button, www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. That's www.celticway.co.uk/subscribe. We say thank you to MPH Group for all your plumbing, heating, kitchen and bathroom needs, and the Navien promotion is still ongoing. You'll see all of that and the links to the website and social media and a phone number in the description of this video. Kevin, thank you, sir. Always appreciate it. Always goes in too fast, sadly. But
no bother at all.
And guys, take care. We will see you again tomorrow.